Netflix is in the middle of another controversy as a result of one of the stars of its hit show Cheer being raided by the FBI for alleged inappropriate contact with a minor. Now, this latest controversy happens to be coming to fruition right as the coach that's featured on the show Cheer is about to debut on Dancing with the Stars, and it'll be interesting to see what happens. So in this video, I'm going to break down this incident and kind of my thoughts on it and my association with the company that brought these accusations forth to law enforcement. So Jerry Harris is the star of the Netflix show Cheer that is under investigation by the FBI and who was raided at his Illinois home, and he allegedly contacted minors via social media for inappropriate relations sexually, and this allegation was brought to the FBI and the law enforcement's attention by the company Varsity, who is one of the biggest companies, if not the biggest company, regarding sports and as far as Cheer goes. I have a relationship with them in the past because of marching band and drum major association that I kind of dealt with over the years. So let me break down why I watch the show Cheer. I don't clearly maybe fit the stereotypical cheerleader interested person, if you will, but when I watch it, I am attracted to this kind of documentary style reality program for competitive sports, and specifically sports that are more creative and choreographed, like a cheer, or in my case, marching band, drum major that I was involved with. And so seeing documentaries that are like this about competitive things are very interesting to me. And it reminds me of my days in marching band when there's a lot of parallels because it's a team where everyone is important on the team. There's not like a string A or string B or people on the bench. Everyone is important in a lot of these sports. And it's also co-ed. It's also multiple age groups are involved. And it, like I said, it involves athleticism and artistic stuff, and it brings them together. So that's why I think it's very interesting and why I actually watched this series when it came out at the beginning of 2020. However, I saw through this show after I had watched it and started seeing the response and a few of the things about who was on the show, what they chose to focus on throughout the show, and who was really gushing over the show and the stars of it in mainstream media, and how fast these people became that are featured on the show, these kids really became superstars as a result of being on the show. And it really kind of showed some red flags to me that I think I ended up being right about, now that we know what we know. First, let me touch on who is involved in the show. So one of the main stars of the show, who already had a following and was pretty famous in the cheer world, I think they called them cheer celebrities, so cheer celebrities, it was Gabby Butler. And I've kind of known about her throughout the years over things she's been associated with. She's pretty well known on social media, and I believe she was actually cast for the show for that reason, because she was popular and whatnot, and they disguised it as her going to college at the university where the show takes place, or at the community college where the show takes place. That happens to be a really good program. So I think she went to that college because of the show, not necessarily because not the show came to the college because she was there, or it just happened to be there coincidentally gonna film the college that she wants to go to. I think it was all kind of orchestrated to make it what it is. As far as what they chose to focus on in the show, a lot of the backstories that they followed, which was a really good part of the documentary, I want to say, is that they didn't just focus on practices. They focused on some of the more interesting stories of people on the team. And they obviously chose to focus on things for a reason, because it filled the agenda that Netflix is trying to push on people, which is diversity, LGBTQ, troubled teens, broken families, even religious persecution, which involved the coach who's on Dancing with the Stars. She was saying how she's religious, but she accepts her kids for who they are, even if it's against the church that she's involved with. So, and also what was very interesting, what they focused on the show, which is, I think, in my opinion, part of what has come up about Jerry and what's going on with him. I don't have proof of that connection, but I'm going to explain kind of my theory here. But they chose to focus on kind of the controversy between Netflix showing a cheer squad and Varsity, which is the company that kind of does a lot of promotion of things. They sponsor events, they have clothing, they do a lot of things, right? And some people believe that they actually have quite a monopoly on this industry, which was part of the thing that they showed on the documentary. And before I go into that, I want to say I do have an association with Varsity in the past. Like I said, I was a drum major in high school, and I actually went to their camps twice when I was 16 and 17 to learn all the things you learn as a drum major before starting in the fall with your band at school. And so that is my experience with Varsity. I thought it was a great company from what I saw. They were very understanding. We had to change a few things before actually going, and they were cool about it. But I do see how this is a problem because they deal with minors, and the people who were coaching and training were not minors. And so this, I could see why they kind of brought this to the authorities' attention. I am thinking this could be kind of a coincidental thing to get back at Netflix for wanting to kind of expose Varsity or talk about them, but also happen to also be the right thing to do, meaning share some things that are brought to your attention that could be illegal. And in this case, I think that is what's happening. Is it's a coincidence that it involves someone, a part of the show that didn't really show your company in the best light, but at the end of the day, I think Varsity is doing the right thing by bringing this matter to law enforcement's attention. And I think Varsity and a lot of these companies like them are very smart for bringing these things to law enforcement's attention right away, because we've learned our lesson, hopefully, from the USA Gymnastics situation where things weren't brought up and more victims came out. So we will see what happens with this one, but that was my initial thought when I started piecing the things together that were happening, and I was like, Then when people started when they started promoting the show really on a lot of different outlets, and a lot of people were gushing over this show, like all around, like widely acclaimed, like, oh, everyone's got to watch this. That always sends red flags off in my head. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just too in tune with the machine that is mainstream media. I don't know, but they were on Ellen. They went to an Oprah, her tour dates with Weight Watchers. She had them on stage. Apparently, Jerry actually did a campaign PSA for Joe Biden. So all these people have been linked to some interesting stories, I'll just say that. Most major news outlets had them on for interviews, whether it be morning shows, midday shows, other primetime shows, whatever it may be. And so that set off red flags to me, because nobody comes out of nowhere and becomes a star without some machine behind them. Hate to break it to you, I know a lot of people think things happen organically now, but people become huge superstars overnight, whether it's they have a huge company backing them that's not really being disclosed, or they have an algorithm that's helping them out, or a major social media platform that's pushing them to the forefront that looks organic, but it's not really. So that is another thing that threw me off also. So the conundrum that's being placed on Netflix right now is, one, they've had a controversy recently from the show called Cuties, that had some pretty provocative posters of the minors that are in the show, showing them in a really sexually exploitative situation or images, and that has been a huge controversy for Netflix. And so this controversy with Jerry having to do with minors as well is just adding on top of this, and it's gonna, I think, blow this even more out of the water, especially a show that's already aired, that's already beloved, and with people on the show that others have fallen in love with on social media or in society in general. And it's just not going to be a good look for Netflix. Also, this could be a problem for ABC. The coach that's featured on this, Monica, who I was talking about, had the religious background and whatnot. She's going to be on Dancing with the Stars this week. Like, it premieres this week, right when this story is coming out. So I don't know if there's any connection there about the timing of this. But I'm curious to see how this impacts her appearance. Are they even going to mention it? Were her students, I don't want to say students, but the team that she coaches, were they going to be featured on Dancing with the Stars at all? Now they're not. I don't know what is going to happen. And the future of Netflix Cheer, I don't know, because allegedly they started filming this new cheer season, which would have ended, from what I know, based on the last season in April, but everything got shut down before they even got to finish the season, really. So are they even going to come back for a second season, or are they just going to wait till 2021 to start filming, or when things get back to normal? I don't know, but this is a pretty big, looking like to be a pretty big scandal, on top of already Netflix's being exposed for what they are. So I am curious to see where this goes. So let me know what you think. 1, have you watched Cheer? Did you like it? And 2, is this story going to change your opinion on what the show is about? And are you going to be sad if it gets canceled, or if things start getting messy and they have to kind of part ways with the show? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And as you head down there, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. Turn on post notifications by ringing the bell if you haven't already. That way we can keep up with each other. I post new video every day about social, political, economic topics, and sometimes a topic encompasses all three, which is my favorite. But let me know what you think in the comments, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.